All right, here we are with Associate Dean Dr. Ann Strahle, and we're going to do a little bit of a faculty spotlight.
Okay.
So first I'd like to ask a little bit about your educational background.
Sure. So I'm originally from the Louisville, Kentucky area, but I did my undergrad at Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana, as a journalism major, and then I went out and worked in the field as a television journalist and anchor, producer, news director, all of those kinds of things. Went back to Indiana University to actually work within the TV business and radio business. So I was eventually the news director for the PBS and the NPR station at Indiana University. But while there, I started working my master's, which was in the School of Journalism as well at Indiana University, started teaching, was working my way through a PhD program, towards a PhD program, and I actually did my PhD, though, at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign in the Institute of Communications Research.
So what have been your research interests throughout your education and your career?
Really, what sparked my interest was media law. And I think that's the reason why is because I worked as a journalist for almost 16 years. And I found that my media law classes when I was an undergraduate really served me well when I was a working journalist. And so when I went and started doing my research for my master's and then eventually into my PhD, that was very natural for me to fall into looking at media law, First Amendment law, and everything like that. When I got really into my PhD studies, my research turned just a little bit by looking at First Amendment law, but in particular the freedom of religion clause in the First Amendment and the Establishment Clause, and really looking at those two in the space between, and how do we communicate about religion in state institutions.
So why did you choose journalism, and then as an extension of that, why did you choose to go from journalism to teaching?
Oh gosh, literally when I was in fifth grade, I figured out that this is what I want to do as in terms of journalism. I was a performer at heart. I was a really good writer, and I had such natural curiosity about why people act the way they act, why people do what they do, what makes the world tick. And so journalism felt really good and natural for me. How I transitioned to academia was I was doing my master's, and I was working at the same time at WTIU and WFIU at Indiana University, and they said, "Oh, come on, Ann, why don't you teach a class? Teach an intro to reporting class." And while I was doing my master's, and I honestly just fell in love with teaching and that world, and actually sharing my skills and sharing my abilities, and so that just led me into where I am today.
If you could teach a class on any one thing, what would it be?
I would have to say that I really enjoy teaching media law and ethics. Ethics is part of my research curriculum. It's part of where I am in the world, and that's one of the classes that I enjoy teaching the most.
So what do you like most about your profession, either journalism or teaching or both?
So important this day and age when you talk about the role of journalism within a democracy. We have the public affairs reporting program within the College of Public Affairs and Education. It is such an incredible program, and as are all of our classes really, but it's about the importance of journalism and ethical journalism in this day and age. And teaching students how to do that, and how to ask important questions, and to do some critical thinking about the issues that are at the forefront today.
And what is one piece of advice you may have for students pursuing a career in your field?
You have to love it. You have to really have a desire and a focus on the importance of it. In today's age. It's not easy, I'm not going to lie. It's not an easy career to go into, but it is such an important part of our democracy.
All right, so I'm going to move into some rapid fire, little goofy questions here. What is a movie that you could watch every day?
Every day. I love science fiction, and I love historical dramas. So two divergent areas. So I will say that probably I can watch like one of the original Star Wars, like Empire Strikes Back or something like that. Have to give props out to like Wrath of Khan for Star Trek. But I also love things like Pride and Prejudice and in the historical drama area.
What is your dream vacation spot?
Scotland. It's a beautiful area, and the east coast of Scotland is where I have family that live, and we try to go back every few years to visit, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
What is a weird fact that you know?
I can sing the states in alphabetical order.
Which famous actor would play you in a movie of your life?
So there's this actress who's a soap opera actress. I think it's Melody Thomas Scott, and she is a longtime actress on Young and the Restless. I never really watched Young and the Restless growing up, but I have been told that I look like her. She plays the character of Nikki, and since I was probably 17 or 18 years old myself, people say that I look like this actress.
Botanical garden or art museum?
Art museum, absolutely art museum. Every time I go visit for any type of trip, I should say, or conference, I always find the art museum and spend a lot of time there.
What is your all-time favorite food?
Mexican.
That's a good answer. What are some of your hobbies outside of work?
Well, I am a media hound and I'm a news hound, so I'm a nerd basically, and so I just spend a lot of time consuming media, quite frankly.
Is a burger a sandwich?
Doesn't have to be. I mean, if it's a really, really good piece of meat, then you can eat it with a fork and a knife with some nice toppings on it.
If you could live in any historical period, which would you choose?
The Elizabethan. Absolutely. I find that time period, always have found that time period fascinating. And, you had a strong female ruler at the time, and there were really interesting things that were going on at that time period as well. So, yes, Elizabethan time period.
What is your favorite holiday?
I think the winter holiday time period, Christmas. Absolutely.
What is your favorite book?
My favorite book, Amusing Ourselves to Death by Neil Postman is one of my favorite. Well, it was a book that made a huge impact on me kind of early on in my academic career, I guess I would call it, college career. Kind of got me to thinking about the role of media in society in a different way.
Okay. Who do you look up to most in life?
I would say that my parents definitely, and just from a personal point of view, both of my parents were very successful in their lives, and kind of set the stage for me, the expectations, right, about what I was going to do in my life. So yes, definitely a big impact on me. Historically, there's a lot of people that I look up to from a historical point of view, but like Eleanor Roosevelt is somebody from historical that I see as somebody that's like, struck her own path in terms and in at that period of time, and the role of women at that time. So
awesome. Yeah. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
That's a great question. If somebody tells you no, find out why they're saying no to you. Respect it, but then ask questions.
Okay. Do you have a favorite quote or mantra that guides your life or work?
This won't last forever, so enjoy it while it's here.
That's beautiful. If you could give a TED Talk on one thing, what would it be?
How to, let me think about this one. Really, the importance of journalism, good journalism in this day and age. I know it can be done in a TED Talk or anything, but in the age of misinformation and what we call fake news, how do we parse that out and think about what the true role of journalism in our particular country is?
All right. Final question. What is one thing you wish you knew as a student?
That while everything counts, in terms of what you do is, when you're a freshman or sophomore and everything like that, enjoy the learning process itself. We sometimes get so bogged down as students with the minutia of the grades, and those are important, don't get me wrong. But sit back and enjoy what you're actually being presented or taking part in, I should say, in a class, and try to think of it from that perspective and not get so bogged down in the little stuff with the grades.
All right. Well, that's all. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.